For starters, what is the book about, and why did you think it was necessary for you to write the book?
Okay. The book is my life story, really, and it starts from the point of when I found out I have sickle cell anemia, but the book starts from the point when I found out I was HIV positive, and that kind of like changed my life, put me on a trajectory which I can't even understand. But the thing is, why did I write this book? I wish I could come up here and say, oh, altruistic and I wanted to impact people's lives and all that. No, that was not the reason I wrote the book. It took me so long to accept that I was HIV positive. I accepted it, but it hadn't really hit me, and it was something that I had not shared with anyone in my family. I shared it with one sister, but the rest of my family didn't know about it. They just found out about 5-6 years ago. And I realized that I was dying inside. I look at myself before I found out, and then the years after, and I'm so different. Mm-hmm. And people kept on saying, Patricia, you have changed. Patricia, you've changed. And I knew I had changed. So last year I came to a place where I was like, I'm tired of being the way I am right now. I'm tired of being sad. I oscillated between anger and depression, and I'm like, I need to get this out. And for me, it was being able to accept the story, mm-hmm. To accept that, Patricia, by the way, you're HIV positive. Just deal with it. On top of having sickle cell anemia, this is this. Just deal with it. So for me, writing the book was the process of accepting and owning that bit of my story.
You find out that you're HIV positive on your birthday. And because when I read the book, the whole time I was also wondering how, where, and there's something that you mentioned as you read. You said that you wondered whether it was from the pedicure guy or the dentist, all these different people. Did you ever find out? Did the doctor get an answer and say, okay, I think this is where you got it from?
Nothing, because we had that conversation and went through it over and over again, and it was like, it could have been an injection, it could be blood, but in your head you're thinking, it can't be that. So I never really thought much about it, but of course the question was there. I'm like, where did I go wrong? But the funny thing is, the answer came this year. Early this year, I changed medical teams, and so of course when you change, you have to give them your entire life story. And what really hurt me was when I shared my life story, the nurse turned to me and said, oh, Patricia, that's a blood transfusion. And I was like, what? I said, yeah, that's a blood transfusion. I said, we're in 2022. That was 2008. It can't be. She's like, it is. She's like, the problem with you guys, you think us as medics, we make mistakes. And you're the first person that's happened to me. I was like, it's so funny, but even now in my family, when you hear blood transfusion, people get scared.
I would, right now, I'm also I don't think I want that. What was the relationship like? Because we've seen your relationship with God evolved, and also you've given us a glimpse into the dating life. I wonder though, I'm very curious and nosy, obviously. How is it now? How is feel free to say, I don't want to talk about it, but how is your dating life now that you've gotten to a point of acceptance? Do you always feel the need to tell the person you're going to date or the person who is interested in you, or by the way, is it something that you front immediately when the person shows it interested, yeah, this is it for me, take it or leave it?
Okay, from that time when that relationship ended, I've actually not entered a relationship from that time. That's 2010. So those are 12 years. And I felt a lot of self-stigma. I think before I was kind of dealing with stigma, but at that point, I just, I felt worthless. And in my mind, I was like, who would even want me? How do you even start this story? HIV, now sickle cell. When you come here, you need to be having finances. And I'm not saying this because of, Kameza and all that. No, we need health insurance. Because I had my own insecurities, my own fears, shame. there's that shame of actually having, HIV. And that's why I'm saying the book healed me. Not really healed me, but saved me.
Yeah.
Because in the process of writing the book, I began to understand things about myself. I began to love myself. I hated myself. Like, it's so funny, people talk about how could that person have committed suicide? Nah. But I'm telling you, these are thoughts that go through my mind. Not once, not twice. Like, I got to the point of where I wrote out my will, I planned it and all that. Like, that was how much I hated myself.
I think in the book you also mentioned how when you had done that, you were ready to take your own life. You were very ready to, leave this world. Tell us about, because you also mentioned a lot of the mental illness that you dealt with. So tell us a bit more about that so people understand that it wasn't just the suicidal thoughts, but there were other aspects that were manifesting.
Okay, so for me, because you hate yourself, so there's the self-stigma, there's the shame, there's the pain. So there's the thoughts of suicide, yes, but then I also had addiction to medicine, to painkillers, because I just wanted to sleep, So, and medicine is something that could be at home, really. It was easily available. So Valium and all that. But now I go to a place where I couldn't sleep unless I took that. And I was just, you look at people and they're doing all these things, but they're just seeking ways to stop the pain, to stop dealing with the pain. So that for me was really what I did. And when it now accumulated to the point of saying, what, I am tired, I'm actually going to commit suicide. And then that's when I now talked to my doctor, and I told him this is what's going on. And that's when they referred me to a psychiatrist. So I had to see a psychiatrist for about a year. And they gave me antidepressants. I didn't take them, but that's the level where I went, So mental health for me is a big thing.
In the book, you say that now you're an advocate for storytelling and wellness. How do you think that has helped you to shape your journey? And how are you helping other people tell their stories?
When you go into the World Health Organization, they describe health and wellness as, what did they say? They said well-being, psychologically, emotionally, physically, and every other ali, and not just the absence of disease and infirmity. And I feel like for many of us, when you're fine, when you don't have a sickness, you think you're fine.
Yeah.
That's not health and wellness. You could be suffering mentally or emotionally, or socially or financially. Like all that has an impact on our health, But because you don't have a disease, you're like, I'm fine. So when I read that, I realized that, okay, Patricia, yes, you have sickle cell anemia. Yes, you're HIV positive. But all these arguments that are here, where are you lying? Where are you lying on this, on the continuum? And so I had to start thinking, okay, mentally, how am I feeling? Like you start having those conversations, and I realized, okay, right now, I think I'm fine. There are no suicidal thoughts. I feel like I'm stable. I'm reading the things that I'm passionate about. Socially, am I meeting with my friends? Because when I found out, I withdrew from everyone. From my friends found out when I launched. So I got to ask myself, okay, how am I socially? Do you have people who you can, as you said, tell all your secrets as it is, without shame? How am I emotionally? And I had to find tools to make sure, I remember when the psychiatrist told me, you should start saying affirmations every day. I said affirmations like this.
What are those?
Those things where you say, I'm loved. I'm enough.
All right.
I was so annoyed when she said that. I'm like, what? How are these words supposed to help me? Well, I'm loved. But you guys, those things they work. Like when you tell yourself consistently, you begin to believe them. I think that's really not. So, like you begin to believe, you're like, okay, that's true. I'm loved. I am enough. I am worthy. And those were the three things I used to say. I am loved. I am worthy. I am enough. I started looking for like what is it that I can do that gives me joy, and that was creativity. So painting, just like it doesn't matter if the thing looks like a chicken. You just you go away and you just like things that to get you out of your mind and all that. So that's now where I am so passionate about creativity and storytelling.